And Ann Barnhart had a nice piece on this that she wrote at barnhart.biz.
Right.
And
she's been a guest on our program before.
Yeah, and it's made its way around the internet now. Definitely.
And we're going to get into some financial news. I'll tell you, some things that you're going to want to hear about, what's going on.
Yeah.
Geithner Treasury drove cut off
20,000 salaried retirees' pensions.
Delphi workers' pensions. And
yep.
We've done work for Delphi and corporate work. And I got to tell you what, those people in the factories work hard. This
was their money that they put away, that they saved, that they, you work, if you have a 401k or a pension plan, you put your money into it, and if you take it out early, you get taxed sometimes, but when it's you retire and your time to get your pension, that's your fallback, that's your savings from working there. And you pay your own money into that. Sometimes the company matches it, sometimes it doesn't. But either way, the auto bailout to 2009 that Obama implemented has taken this money away from, with Timothy Geithner. An email obtained by the Daily Caller shows that Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner was the driving force of the termination of these 20,000 salaried retirees' pensions.
You gotta wonder.
And it was, they say, because those retirees were not members of labor unions, and that's a key aspect of this article. Also, we got abortionists sees aborting ugly black babies as a service to taxpayers. We're going to get in a little bit of that.
Progressive, by the way, a progressive, liberal, if you will, but a progressive in terms of,
And also, some interesting news on both the Colorado movie theater shooter and Jared Lee Loughner, the Arizona shooter, who pled guilty today in an Arizona court, and he was spared the death penalty by Eric Holder. This CBS AP article says Jared Lee Loughner Tuesday agreed to spend the rest of his life in prison, accepting that he went on a deadly shooting rampage at an Arizona political gathering and sparing the victims a lengthy possible traumatic death penalty trial. But there's way more to that than this. And at the part of the article on the bottom, it says Attorney General Eric Holder said in a statement that he took the views of the victims into consideration when he decided not to seek the death penalty. Now, if you remember, there was a federal judge killed, along with a congresswoman who was shot in the head, who survived, and 5 others were killed as well, many others injured. And we don't hear what this guy, what his motives were. Everything's kept sealed now. We don't know anything.
Well,
really.
yeah. I mean,
they say he's mentally fit, but he pleads guilty. There was a question to his mental stability. His lawyers were the same people that worked with mind control, other said to be mind-controlled people, such as the Unabomber, I think, and the Oklahoma City people. I'm not sure. I might have one of those two messed up, but I'm sure it's one of them. And James Holmes, psychiatrist, contacted University police weeks before movie theater shooting, and this says that in order for her to contact a team, it's like an awareness team they have at this college, she has to break confidentiality. In order for her to do that as a psychiatrist, there has to be an imminent threat to somebody else, or she has to see an imminent threat and think there's something very wrong. And I watched a video on this, and we don't have that. But it said the reason that they stopped their investigation at the school was because he quit. And part of that video, there's a psychologist or somebody who said that's the time when people need to be, that's when the red flags really need to go up, is when you're looking at somebody like this and you have these indicators and their own, apparently what he said was enough to make the psychiatrist go and raise red flags. But when he quit, they dropped it, and that's when this other person says, this is not the time to drop that. But I mean, so many strange things around the Colorado shooter we've talked about. There was a notebook sent to the psychiatrist. Now we have this, and just so much more on that. But the real interesting stuff is we want to start with is the armored vehicle stuff in Wisconsin.
Before we do that, I just want to mention two other things. You folks, have you heard about the Russian missiles in Cuba? Russian missiles in Cuba. Remember the missiles of October back in 1962? Well, reportedly there are Russian missiles, nuclear-tipped missiles now, back on the Cuban island. And this has been, we heard about this last week. I know Rick Wiles had reported extensively on this last week. Well, not extensively, but to the extent that he could. We had questioned, whether or not there was just a base there, or whether the missiles were present. But to the best that we could determine, yes, there are missiles in Cuba as of this past May that are either nuclear capable, or have the nuclear warheads. So that's something I wanted to let you know. And also, one last thing, the little TV I do watch, I had seen and again, Rick Walls mentioned this as well. I think the other day, I'm not sure when it was, but NBC program. I don't know, folks, if you heard about this. If you don't watch TV, obviously, you don't. But we do know that the powers that be and the Illuminati, the real power brokers, they do telegraph intent.
Yeah, and that's what
Mr. industry.
Wow has been saying on his last couple shows we listened to, that the Hollywood, the music and entertainment industry is pretty much a portal for satanic activity and for channeling spirits, giving these people messages secretly. I mean, stuff we don't know through the symbology that they use. We're not into the secret society, Freemason, Illuminati rituals. We don't know all the symbols and secrets and signs, but from what he's saying, there's messages being conveyed in these, either to demonic forces or real people to go and take certain actions. And, I really don't doubt that there is truth to that. I mean,
well, with that, the promotion or the NBC promo of the television series Revolution is debuting on September 17th, and that's that program is all about a post-apocalyptic world or a nation in the future after an EMP, electromagnetic pulse attack, here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about putting down militias and stuff. And so you've got to wonder exactly what's going on. Now, some people could say, well, geez, Jericho was a series, and all about the nuclear attack and what have you. Nothing happened. Well, I don't know, but I think it's worth noting, because who knows? I mean, it's worth noting, especially if you don't watch TV. It's worth noting that that's out there. So all that and your calls, folks, at 661-244-9839. That's 661-244-9839.
Yeah, give us a call. We'll start taking calls.
In fact, maybe we should.
We're going to cover this. Let's cover this armored military.
All right, let's do that.
In Wisconsin neighborhood.
Folks already on hold, please just stay right there with us. We're going to take your calls in the order in which they have been received.
This article out of InfoWars by Paul Joseph Watson: armored military vehicles of the type used to hunt for insurgents in Afghanistan are set to patrol roads in Sheboygan County, Wisconsin, as part of a training exercise on behalf of the U.S. Army Reserve. It goes on to say that the exercises have been running despite the fact that the troops driving the M117 armored security vehicles have already been and received their basic training. These vehicles that these military officers might use if they're deployed, patrol vehicles, and they say that these drills were to ensure that officers didn't get rusty in handling the M117s. The vehicles, which may have been used overseas, as described as being strange, intimidating, heavily armored, while being the same size as a large SUV.
Now, and I did check with a couple of military people that are just retired from the military. One just retired from the military. One has been in the military. And I asked, I said, is there any reason whatsoever for the U.S. military to be practicing on American streets? And I want to know that. I mean, for example,
I mean, we talked about this.
Yeah, I know, but I just had to find out to make sure that, hey, are we missing something here? It's almost like, when you have an armored vehicle in spitting distance, and it's military, and it's on the streets, in direct violation of the Posse Comitatus Act, you got to feel like you have to be grounded in reality. So I asked, and they said, no, there is no legitimate reason, only because that's what military bases are for.
Right, and they're blurring the line between police and military in this article. It goes on to say, local authorities have apparently not even been briefed about the planned exercises, which will run until August 17th, so 10 more days if you're in there, Wisconsin and Sheboygan County, look for these vehicles, stay away from these people. It goes on to say the increasing phenomena of military training drills taking place away from military bases and amidst the general public has led to fears that the American people are being acclimated to accept a potential future declaration of martial law.
That's right.
It says back in June, St. Louis residents were shocked to see heavily armored U.S. Army vehicles patrolling neighborhoods as part of an exercise. It goes on to say that, however, the local media responding to the featured Vox Pops interview with who supported the use of the military in order to cut down on crime, despite the fact that using the Army for domestic law enforcement is forbidden under the Posse Comitatus Act, as you stated. And this is what this lady said. This was advocating that American, this on the street. She said, I think it's the same way when you go to other countries. They don't have police officers. They have troops. I think it's kind of, it scares a lot of people. It might cut down on a whole lot of crime because they don't know if they're military or the police. I think it is fantastic because it might slow down some of the crime rate.
Wow.
And, I mean, when you read that, and it says, it seems like other countries, they don't have police officers, they have troops. I think it scares a lot of people because they're not sure if they're military or police. Those are third world countries, okay? Do you know why the military is controlling the streets? Because there's usually gun bans, there's lots of poverty, the criminals have guns, and it's all drug activity. And, you know, half the time the military's in on it. And, you know, like I said, they cut the pensions, they cut the money that they're paid. They turn, the cops in turn, or military, use bribes, take bribes, and, you know, what do they call it, booty, whatever you take from your pillage. And, I mean, it's a complete constitutional, unconstitutional actions by our military are being taken against us on a daily basis. Our tax money is going to fund it, and it will not stop. It's going to continue to get worse. People, even who listen to our show, you know, have dreams of black helicopters and Army personnel all over the place, multiple people, multiple times, multiple nights. I get the emails, and we are seeing this come to fruition right in front of our eyes. And this article says something important as it goes on. It says predictions of mass civil unrest have fueled fears that the federal government and the U.S. Army are gearing up for domestic disorder.
Where have you heard that?
The U.S. Army and the DHS recently purchased large quantities of riot gear in anticipation of trouble at the upcoming DNC and RNC, the conventions, and the presidential inauguration.
Look,
and it just goes on, and I'll finish up here. A recently leaked U.S. military training manual for civil disobedience operations outlines how the military assets are to be used domestically to quell riots, confiscate firearms, and even kill Americans on U.S. soil during mass civil unrest. Page 20 of the manual, rules regarding the use of deadly force in confronting dissidents are made disturbingly clear with the directive that a warning shot will not be fired. And this is talking about American military patrolling American streets, okay? And this goes right in with NDAA, no law, no arrest, no due process, right to death, pretty much, or to a lifetime camp of your choosing until they, you know, work you to death or kill you there. What does our country come to?
Well, you know, and I was talking with Steve Quayle today, and I asked, I said, geez, you know, Steve, what do you make of all this? I mean, you know, what are your sources saying? What's your assessment? And you know, we were talking too about Ezekiel 3, chapter 3 and 33, where they call people to be watchmen, you know, and if you're not an effective watchman, for example, watchman in the Lord, if you're not effective, then you have blood on your hands, you know, and that's, so we've got to look at this and say, okay, now wait a second, you know, without scaring anyone, I mean, but again, that's frightening enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
and, I mean, that's just one article. We have this Tea Party article where the U.S. Army to be used against insurrectionist Tea Party. And this, you know,
well, you understand that what's floating around the internet on this is the best way I could describe it would be in the future.
It's a scenario, yeah. It's an Army manual operating concept from 2016 to 2028 dictates that the military's full spectrum operations will include operations within American borders. And it goes on, there's a scenario here. Yeah. It says a scenario
where they take over Darlington. Darlington, South Carolina, if you've read that. Okay.
it says a group of political reactionaries, later described as Tea Party insurrectionists, forcibly take control of a strategic town, is then outlined, and it goes on to list, to say what they'll do. But, I mean, this is just crazy. They are openly funding al-Qaeda. They're asking you to fund al-Qaeda. We read an article yesterday that the Obama administration is asking Americans to donate to the Syrian rebels, who are known to be al-Qaeda now. Obama signed a secret CIA order to give these people funding. Was it $76 million we read yesterday? It was at
5 or 6,
$12 million, then $76 million that have been given directly to the Syrian rebels, they say for nonviolent, nonviolent support, but I doubt it. Those are going right to weapons, money, or right to weapons and personnel. And, it's just amazing that we have a president in the United States who can make a law saying anybody who is thought to be even with associated forces of al-Qaeda can be kidnapped, hauled off, sent to prison for life without any trial. Yet our president, our government, our military will fund al-Qaeda openly in our faces while telling us if we even think about, befriending somebody who might be linked to al-Qaeda, our life's in danger. So, how do you deal with this?
Well, and I think that this administration, if you want to even call it that, this resident in the Oval Office and the people around them are guilty of treasonous acts by their own definition. So that's got to be kind of a bipolar type of situation in the White House, I think.
And we talk about this. The only way to really affect change is for individual people such as yourselves to, begin to do things, civil disobedience, not complying, not allowing, let it be known that you're not supportive of your tax dollars being funded to help execute innocent people in other countries. Let the people know, as much as it really doesn't matter sometimes, but at least you're on record telling, the scumbags in Washington that you are not going to be a part of their murdering death culture that they bring about in every country, trying to take control of the world like some, mutated Hitler organization that we got going with our government. It's just completely crazy. We have a bank of phone people on the phone.
We missed a call yesterday. I want to grab that one, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, we're going to go to the phones now. And give us a call at 661-244-9839 on anything we've mentioned so far.
Yeah, this is a caller-driven show, so if you've got a question that we can possibly address, we'd like to do that for you. So,
area code 484, you are live with the Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
Yes, this is Jim. I was just giving a call. I just had a question. I was wondering if there's a possibility that they can get everybody that's on Blog Talk, from like L.A., Marzulli, Zane Garcia, Rob Skiba, Kent Hogan's son, everybody to, just be watchmen and actually bring everything to the table, and then it can go viral on the internet.
Yeah,
so
Paul,
the government wouldn't know what to do.
I'm not really familiar with, I know who L.A. Marzulli is. I'm not really familiar with some of the people you mentioned. If you want, you can send an email to me or my father.
Just go on HomelandSecurityUS.com and send an email to just click on one of our names.
Yeah, we're not too familiar with we know some of the other Blog Talk hosts, but we're not too familiar with a lot of them. So if you could help us out in telling us which ones are on our side and tell them the same message, that would be a big help.
Are you talking so many of them, and it can be really can help a lot with a lot of people. It can bring everybody together to be make it even bigger, a whole group of watchmen.
That's exactly right. And the people we deal with, that we know, like for example, Pastor Paul Begley and RPM and Steve Quayle, all these people. Everyone that we know of to deal with, they leave their egos at the door, and we get right down to business. And there's no infighting or anything like that. So it's good because we need that solidarity right now, man. We need to, so it's a good idea.
Yeah, I just looked at some people, and then some people just don't know anything about anything that's going to happen, and it's just scary that imagine what's going to happen when it just goes black in their face when they wake up in the morning one day, and everything, nothing's the same. I just feel bad for those type of people.
Yeah, you know, and I'll tell you, we don't know if it's what the trigger is going to be. If it's going to be a pandemic, or if it's going to be war with, you know, over in the Middle East, or if it's going to be economic, or.
And I really think it's going to be economic and war. The way it's looking, it's going to have to be. They're going to overthrow Syria, and they're going to go to war with Iran. That's not even an if. It's just a when. As far as the economy, it seems to be the same thing. The debt's unsustainable. We're doing the opposite of solutions to fix our economy. We're actually making it worse by printing more money backed by nothing. So it's unsustainable all around, and I don't have a lot of hope for our country as a whole, but I do for individuals.
Yeah, not at all.
Well, very good. Caller.
Yes, well, Zen Garcia does have a website. I was going to hang up in a minute, but some people in the chat room, I'm surprised a lot of people know about him. He has a website called fallenangels.tv. He's the one who led me to you guys.
Wait a minute. Say that again slowly.
Steve. Oh, I'm sorry. Zen Garcia.
Right.
Fallenangels.tv.
Fallenangels.tv. Okay.
Okay.
Or Tribulation Now. It's a bunch of people posting things.
Okay.
Well, we really appreciate that information.
I appreciate you.
We're always looking for you know, other people, like-minded people to bring on the show, to, you know, work together with, to get as many people as awake and understanding as possible, because that's what this is all about, and people need to understand the times we're living in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I really appreciate you guys, because I already know your gifts in heaven will be they are definitely waiting for you. I really believe so.
Appreciate that, my friend. Well, God bless you for calling, and thanks for listening, and spread the word, you know. I mean, and we're going to do the same. We'll look for your email, and we'll look into what you know, the various parties you're talking about. All right. Very good.
I appreciate that.
Take care, my friend.
Thank you for the call.
So we got another call here from the 224 area code. Okay, we're going to take one more call here from the, oops, I didn't get that, did I?
I think this is Mel from the 224 area code. Is that you, Mel?
Yeah, say, how you guys doing out there?
Good, good. How are you? What's on your mind?
I have some information about the plan for the Middle East from a doctrine called the Clean Break Doctrine, and the Clean Break The Clean Break Doctrine is a plan that they're trying to balkanize the Middle East. So balkanization, like remember the Yugoslavia war with the ethnic cleansing? So the balkanization, the plan is to destabilize the region and to turn tribes against tribes, like the way the European Empire did in Africa through indirect rule, where you put one stronger tribe against the other tribe, and then you put the more preferable tribe in your favor in charge. And there's another doctrine, I think it's called the Halo E doctrine, but it's more of a foreign policy of Israel's, that they apply maximum strength if it's a minimum problem. And there's one more book. It's by General Wesley Clark. He's a U.S. General Wesley Clark.
Right.
In his book called Winning Modern, I think it's called it's called Winning Modern Wars: Iraq Terrorism and the American Empire. And page 130, they have there's like a special section in the book that says 5-year plan. It's called the 5 years plan, and they talk about the destabilization of different countries, from Iraq to Libya to Syria to Somalia to Sudan, and then Syria. The big one on there is Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
Go ahead. So, well, wait a minute. What you're saying is this has all been spelled out nicely in a book, the balkanization of the Middle East, is what you're telling me, right?
There's different doctrines that they highlight the foreign policy, and then the U.S. General, they describe the 5-year plan strategy of the region, and the big one on there is Saudi Arabia.
What's their intent with Saudi Arabia? Is that spelled out?
I don't know the intent with Saudi Arabia, but I would have to read that part more.
Okay.
But my guess would be to destabilize it to control the oil fields.
Well, we look what we did to Iraq. Where's that oil going? I mean, that oil's not heading our way, I don't think. If it is, we're certainly not seeing any relief at the pumps.
No, gas is going up. Oil is going up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Mel, that's interesting information. I mean, look, I've heard of the balkanization of America, and I think that's taking place right now, but not of the Middle East. And I think, you know, hey, who knows? Maybe that's the plan. And if it is, but don't you think, Mel, the larger plan, and folks who are listening, don't you think the larger plan is to establish like a pretty solid offense against the nation, the state of Israel? I mean, wouldn't you look at that as more of the plan? No, I'm asking. I'm not because you know, I'm interested in your take on this.
If it's to get Israel isolated and then make them the target?
Yeah.
I don't. It's kind of hard to say. I don't know how to answer that question, but I think they're involved too on it with the U.S. and Great Britain.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that the governments are aligned with these, you know, satanic Luciferians who have taken over parts of governments, and they do work together, regardless of country and nationality. They have a common agenda, and it is a one world order, and they will go to bring about that one world order any way that they can.
Yeah, that I agree.
Oh yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu. He was the one who wrote the clean break doctrine. He was one of the supporters of the doctrine too.
Okay.
The current Prime Minister of Israel.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and
wow.
And there's a rumor that the current Prime Minister of Israel is a descendant of the Moabites, which is one of the tribes of Israel, one of the 12 tribes, and the Moabites, they were known for sacrifices and worshiping false gods.
Okay. Well, all right. Okay. Do you see, caller? I'm kind of taking up my own personal poll here. When do you see us, or when do you see war breaking out? Whether it's Syria and Iran versus, you know, whatever, or us versus Iran, or us versus Syria, or Israel versus Syria and Iran, whatever. When do you see that happening?
Well, there was actually an incident 2 days ago. The Syrian rebels, they captured a full bus of Iranians in a bus in Syria. The Syrian rebels captured some Iranians.
Right.
And they said the Iranians were going for Ramadan. So I think that could be used as a justification for Israel, Great Britain, and the U.S. to declare war.
Interesting. Yeah. That could
and
be.
There's actually a video on that too, that it shows one of the, like, their military uniforms, the Iranians. But who knows? They could be planted soldiers there, and you know, deception is a great tool in war.
Yeah. That's Sun Tzu, Art of War. Everybody should get that book. I think it's like $5 now. You know, it's pretty prolific. Or parts of it on the internet. That's one of the things. You know, deception is a big part of war.
We've got a full bank of callers, Mel. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
No, I just wanted to share that information with you guys. I'll send you guys an email more about it. Okay?
Yeah, we'd appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That was good. You know, interesting. I keep wrestling with this cord here.
Yeah, you do. You're having a hard time with it.
What the heck is going on with this thing? I got a little.
It's tying itself around you there.
It's alive.
We have some more callers on hold.
Let's get to them.
All right, we're going to take the call here at area code 440. You're on live with the Hagmann and Hagmann report.
I have to get you a spreadsheet for that. Hi, caller.
Hello.
Yes, you're on the air.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is Paul.
Paul.
Yeah.
All right,
tried to call you last night there, and it was running kind of late. I finally hung up around, I think it was around 9:58, or a few minutes before, you know. Anyhow, it was either the first or second caller, okay, and that guy asked about, you know, the ability to get around the credit card issue and that. And I think
last night, yeah.
I think I understand your, you know, your situation there. I have a suggestion for you, and I think it might work out pretty good. Get a P.O. box and take it out in the name. Yes, right. And then run everything through postal money order. Because this way, number one, you've got a guaranteed payment there, see, in case something happens, somebody sends a check or something and it don't work out. Post offices are still everywhere. They're very accessible. Anybody can use them. And plus, you're right at the bank when you go down there to pick up your donations. And, you know, it's as simple as that. It's safe, secure. It is nationally recognized. You know, you have a lot of people that do business over the Internet, and that is an option. So you might want to look into that.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. I got it. I was kind of lost there for a second. Yeah, for people who would like to contribute towards the show and to keep the show on the air.
Yeah, a cash donation, in other words, see, as an option to the credit cards.
I got you. Yeah, I thought for a second that we were talking about going off grid, and I was just I don't know where my head. No, yeah, that's fine. You know, yeah. We thank you for that. In fact, appreciate that information.
Sure.
You can do that, indeed. Very good. Very good. Yeah, I appreciate that.
You know, that's one of the biggest problems. Okay, with you know, a lot of the people on the Internet. I'm half asleep, so you're going to have to bear with me here.
Oh, wake up. Let's get some coffee.
Yeah, wake up. Take Rush Limbaugh, for instance. Now, I'd like to take out a subscription with him. The only problem is he takes Visa. I don't have Visa. You know, he's got very limited credit card coverage there, you know, and, you know, I've got MasterCard and Discover, so I'm kind of out of the loop.
What's he take? Oh, for the 24/7 stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. You know, if you want to subscribe to him, you know, Glenn Beck used to be the same way, but fortunately now that he's on his, you know, he's got the new the Mercury thing going there.
Right.
Okay, they've kind of expanded the number of cards anyhow. But for cash, that's the way to go, is with postal money order. And like I said, P.O. box, you're right at the bank when you go to make a pickup. So you cash them right there and walk out with a bag of money, you know.
Well.
But yeah, I don't mean to put it like that, but you know, what it does is it facilitates the people like that guy there that called last night, you know, and made the remark, you know, about a lot of people not wanting to use their credit cards, and I can understand that.
Oh,
you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I do too. Yeah, and we use PayPal primarily, and if people want to, you know, help us out. You know, I was laughing the other day. I mean, if everyone who listens to us sent us $1, like we wouldn't have to ask for anything for the rest of, you know, the year or 2 years. You know.
Yeah.
But, you know, but that's fine. Wow.
You can buy your own servers that way.
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
I have to tell you something. That's a concern of ours because what are we going to do when, you know, there's no place to broadcast from or no place to broadcast through?
That is the reason. Yeah, that is the reason that I did. You know, from the time that I got the website.
Yep. Yeah, you got your own.
Yeah, by the time I got the hosted one, I got two of them actually. See, I've got my own server, two of my own servers right in the house here, which are linked up to that one. So there's, you know, when you click on the home page there's 3 of them that are marked redirected. Okay, that comes to the house, and then the one right up underneath my picture on the innkeeper's page there, likewise, is the same. I don't have it flagged as redirected. I forgot to put that on there. But that's the new server. The one I'm working on. I mean, it's a mess right now. You know, I call it the dump because that's basically what it is.
Well, you've got a lot of information. Go ahead and give your website out because you've got a lot of information in just pure, no flowery stuff. It's just there. It's on. You know, you can download it. What's your website?
Well, likewise, I want you to feel free to mention it when it comes to mind. Okay, you know, sure. Whether I do or not, it's, you know, it's up to you. But I mean, you know, if somebody wants to talk, or if somebody wants information, in particular books and stuff on Agenda 21, they can find it there. You know.
Yeah.
This is stuff that I have collected, likewise, from the Internet. All I'm doing is sharing my stuff, okay, with everybody else. You know, this is what it's about. because I don't want to be guilty of any kind of plagiarization or anything like that here. That's not the case.
No, and I've been on your server there, and I got to tell you, you got a lot of stuff on there where you can download. People can download. It's all good stuff about Agenda 21. You've got a massive, pretty good collection.
Oh yeah, I got a lot more stuff going up there too. As soon as I find it's a work in progress, you know.
No,
and,
they all.
Anyhow, frontstreetsaloon.com.
Frontstreetsaloon.com.
Yes,
folks.
one word, Front Street Saloon.
That's right.
So,
you can't buy a beer, but you can get a lot of it.
You can bring your own. There's a jukebox there. There's on the home page. There's there's a chat room there under. I think I got it at the lounge, or I forgot now. It's been so long since I've used it. But anyhow, you know, it's kind of set up like a virtual bar. You know, you can go ahead and it's audio, video, 10-member only now. Okay, it's not going to accommodate 100 connections. You know, it's just it's not going to fly because I'm actually using a demo, a free demo. You know, which gives me 10 members. You know, but until I get some money, you know, that's the deal.
Oh yeah, it's expensive to run your own servers.
Oh yes, it is.
You know, and I mean, people think buying the servers, you know, but no, you got to run them. You get to power them, and plus the lines that go out. You know, we've got
the cost of the chat room. I'm sorry, Doug. I don't mean to keep interrupting you. The cost of the chat room. You know, you're talking in some cases thousands of dollars here just for that software.
Yes.
And you know, after that, then you're right. You know, you got to maintain it.
Yep.
And you know, when you go into a large room like that, where you've got unlimited hosting there, you know, you're doing it yourself, but you have unlimited connections. You know, you got to have enough server power there to back that up. You know, otherwise it's going to bog down and boom. Out it goes.
The software, making sure you've got the latest updates, the antivirus, the you know, no virus.
Yes.
Holy cow,
right.
you know.
Yeah,
you got the liability on your end too if somebody picks something up that, you know, like a computerized transmittable disease. So, but appreciate that. Front Street Saloon. We're going to move on, my friend. You take care, and thanks for the call. I appreciate the information.
You got it. Okay, talk to you later.
Yeah. Interesting, Joe. That's more information about. People are doing this. They're putting together information about Agenda 21. They're putting information about the New World Order together. This is available for you in one stop. It's in like the old I can't remember what they call those old bulletin board or the download like an FTP type of site, but it's frontstreetsaloon.com. So it's pretty interesting. You can grab all the reading material that you can handle for a day or two or three. Kudos to him for doing that. Yeah, you know, let's break in real quick here and announce to people kind of what we're tentatively planning. Shall we do that?
Yeah, I already did in the chat room a little bit, so.
Okay, in the chat room, I know. But folks who
Sunday
are not
night.
part of the chat room, this is kind of, we're working on this now. It's tentative.
Yeah, Sunday night, it's looking like we're going to have a 3-hour show with Steve Quayle and Augusto Perez.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and it'll probably be the 9 to midnight time. Based on the last shows we've done with Steve and others. So hopefully that stays together, and we'll be doing that Sunday. It should be a groundbreaking show. Augusto Perez was just on Radio Preacher Man's show, and Steve is a regular guest of our show. If you haven't heard any of Steve Quayle before, you can go to our homepage at Blog Talk Radio and just you know, go through our archives. We have a show, you know, once every couple weeks, once every 10 days.
HomelandSecurityUS.com.
You can go to our website at HomelandSecurityUS.com that I'm guilty of not visiting as much as I should.
Apparently not. But right there, just click on recent broadcasts, and there you go. And okay,
it won't be video for that either if we do have it. But
not for the 3 hours, and not on Sundays. There's just a lot of things about that. Now, also, I have a request out for Tamar Yona from Israel National Radio to come on, and there are a few other people that are going to get back with me with respect to their appearances. So a lot of good people coming up to talk about what's taking place in this country. I do want to mention as well the one thing that I found very interesting. The Obama Occidental classmate confirmed Obama's scholarship. Obama went by Barry. There's a guy by the name of Bill Snyder as a classmate. Now this is from Citizen Wells only because they claim this is an exclusive look. It's not. Well, okay, it's an exclusive. Obama Occidental classmate confirmed Obama scholarship. Obama went by Barry, not Barack.
And this is
per
all
Bill Snyder.
for foreign student names.
That's right. Now everyone called him Barry. This according to this Bill Snyder. We were both scholarship students.
His bio said his name was Barry. It's Barry on his voter registration.
Right.
It's written. It's there's a lot of tidbits of information I'm still even finding myself that have already been released. But the media doesn't cover it. I mean, we were out of town, overnight trip a couple of weeks ago, and I found a old article that had all this old newspaper that, had his Barry and had his record with his signing as Barry, and just really, I mean, the evidence is out there. It's not fake evidence. This is real evidence. If even his own, the non-release of his own records, the non-release of his real birth certificate for years isn't enough to tell you. I mean, they were taking the certificate of live birth on MSNBC and showing it like it was the real thing, saying there is no other birth certificate. This is it. And then we all know what happened. Donald Trump kind of gave him a way to release it. I think it was all a political stunt. He released it, and then immediately after they had the Osama bin Laden raid, covered the whole thing up. And, our population doesn't care. He could come out in his speech today and say, yes, I am a Kenyan / reptilian, Illuminati, alien, Anunnaki, fallen angel. They'd still praise him. They don't care. I mean, these people are so gone. And I posted a link to a video in the chat, and it's kind of...
is that what you're doing over there?
It's called The Complete and Undeniable Truth, and that's the name of the video on YouTube. It's 20-minute. It's 20 minutes of a man speaking, and it's an excellent audio.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an excellent listen. It breaks down the politics and how people look up to the people in Washington as leaders when they're, really worse than drug dealers, and I agree with that, because the point the guy makes is at least prostitutes and drug dealers are honest about what they do. They don't, go in front of the public trying to get their confidence and then turn around behind their back and, commit crimes.
And
and how people are supporting the culture of death, supporting the military, killing people all over the world by not saying no, by not standing up.
Yes.
I was talking to my mom today about how they are allowing the donations to go to Al-Qaeda. And she said, people will donate. They will donate. She's like, they will donate. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, Mom, they will.
I wonder if we could divert those. Any computer programs out there want to divert those donations, we'll slew them up between RPM, Pastor Paul. Never.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Just, seriously, my goodness, but who would? Well, yeah, we know who. All right, I want to thank Sarge for sending this in, and he makes a good point on this topic. Where'd you go, Sarge? Let's see here. Well, he says, what if Wayne Allen Root, he was the one that wrote the article that claims that Obama went to Occidental on a foreign scholarship. What if Root is correct? What if Obama is still an Indonesian citizen? Now, he takes this a little bit further, folks, and think about this.
But it's not that far out of the realm of possibilities because all evidence shows that he did not switch his citizenship back from Indonesia.
Right.
And it has to do with why he lost his law license or gave up his law license.
It's a lot. Yeah, well, that's, yeah.
But, yeah.
But he posits this, and think about this, folks. What if Obama wants to be exposed as a fraud right before the election? I can't imagine that, but okay, let's entertain that thought for a second. What happens to the election then? Well, there'd have to be an investigation if he admitted it. Would there? I don't know. But with this crew, who knows? But who's going to investigate? Sarge writes, the Department of Justice, Congress, who governs in the interim? Biden? He can't because he was not in on it as was can't. He was in on it as was Pelosi, so he'd be like a co-conspirator, if you will. So, he goes on to say, what if Obama and his bunch of czars run to the UN and cry foul and beg them to help under the duty to protect doctrine of the United Nations? It's kind of an interesting concept. Quite a little bit out of the box, but hey, what isn't out of the box now? What if the Dictators Club, known as the UN, actually say, okay, declared the U.S. a rogue nation for not recognizing that America has chosen Obama and has spoken, and so on, and our Constitution gets declared to be an illegal doctrine of the law. You talk about a mess, Sarge, but you know what? That's thinking out of the box. Okay, we'll take a look. I mean, that's rather interesting. I don't see that taking place, but I do see it being exposed. If, for example, if for any reason, well, let's just say nothing happens, the election goes off, and candidate B, whoever that is, wins. Okay, I really think at some point in time, Obama's going to have to pay the piper for his lies and for his deceit. Now, when I say pay the piper, at least be exposed. Now, he might be ruling Kenya at that time. But
I think he's ruling Kenya now.
But look what, and this is important, folks, look what Obama's cousin, Odinga, did in Kenya. When he lost the election, what did he do? What you know what he did, Odinga?
No.
Okay. He basically burned the cities down, or caused, I shouldn't say burned the cities down, through Obama himself assisted in causing civil, I mean, the most vicious civil unrest across the country you can imagine. That's what happened when Obama's cousin Odinga lost the election.
Yeah, and they were slaughtering Christians.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, like it was planned. It was just, I remember you talking about that, and I wasn't paying much attention to that at the time, but I've done a lot of research on that in Odinga since then, and what I have seen is disgusting, to say the least. I just come across this article. For unpaid college loans, feds dock Social Security.
Can you believe this?
More retirees are falling behind on student debt, and Uncle Sam is coming after their benefits. It's no secret that falling behind on student loan payments can squash a borrower's hopes of building a savings, buying a home, or even finding work. Now, thousands of retirees are learning that defaulting on student loan debt can threaten something that used to be untouchable, their Social Security benefits. According to government data compiled by the Treasury Department at the request of smartmoney.com, the federal government is withholding money from a rapidly growing number of Social Security recipients who have fallen behind on student federal loans. From January through August 6th, the government reduced the size of roughly 115,000 retirees' Social Security checks on the ground. That's nearly double the pace of the department's enforcement in 2011. It's up around 60,000 cases in all of 2007, and from 6 cases in just 2000. So the government is coming after, not only that, they're coming after the pensions. We talked about this earlier. Internal emails, Geithner Treasury killed pensions of 20,000 non-union auto workers.
Yep.
Emails obtained by the Daily Caller show that Treasury Department, led by Timothy Geithner, was a driving force behind terminating the pensions of 20,000 salaried retirees at the Delphi Auto Parts Manufacturing Company. The move, made in 2009 while Obama administration implemented its auto bailout plan, appears to have been made solely based on those retirees and their non-membership of labor unions. The internal government emails contradict sworn testimony in federal court before Congress given by several Obama administration figures. They also indicate that the administration misled lawmakers and the courts about the sequence of events surrounding the termination of those non-union pensions, and that administration figures violated federal law. Sounds familiar.
Well, this is going to be more. There's going to be more of this coming, according to the information we've got, that corresponds with the Wall Street Insider of Ulsterman.
And just a little information on Delphi. It was a 13-year-old company that was independent of General Motors, one of the world's largest automotive parts manufacturers. 20,000 of its workers lost nearly their entire pensions when the government bailed out GM. At the same time, Delphi employees who were members of the United Auto Workers Union saw their pensions topped off and made whole. I mean, just the most fascist, corrupt government in the history. Like I always say, I never thought it could get worse than George Bush, and I've been aware of things such a short time that, you know, really Clinton and Bush and Obama are the only presidents that I understand, you know, policy. And this is just, I mean, they are wrecking everything. They're wrecking business. They're wrecking capitalism. They're wrecking our Constitution. They're wrecking our water, our food, our air. They're wrecking our land. They're wrecking other people's land, destroying lives across the world. It is a cabal of power that will not stop until they either are dead or have total domination.
Yeah, exactly right. We're coming up close to the top of the hour, folks. Again, if you want to have, if you want to weigh in on anything that we're talking about, 661-244-9839. We, in fact, will take your calls in the order that they are received. I don't want to short anyone out here before. Well, we got a few minutes.
We took this one.
Okay, that's fine. Folks, if you want me,
yeah, we'll take that call. Let's see if somebody's there. Yeah.
You didn't even look.
The 702.
All right. If you're just listening, we apologize. But area code 702, you're on with Doug and Joe Hagmann. I think we went through this before. This sounds real familiar. Area code 702, you're on with Doug and Joe. If you want to talk.
We'll put you back on hold.
Sorry about that, 702, if we interrupted anything.
And I'll definitely write that number down this time.
Yeah,
so I remember
I do believe that we went through that. Well, you know what? What difference does like a set of numbers make? Let's go to the 704 area code. You're on with Doug and Joe. If you want to have, if you have a comment or a question.
I'm just listening, Doug.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll put you back in queue. Thanks a lot. Yeah, you know, it's great, and I want to thank you. I always get this confused. Do they have to press like a button?
I'm not sure. I think they say press 1 to talk to the host. But what we'll do is, you guys want to get on the line with us, give us a call at 661-244-9839. We'll take your calls after the break.
Yeah, we're going to a break now.
But you can call us right now at 661-244-9839. Before we go to the break, I want to hit this article. It's real short. Abortionist sees aborting ugly black babies as a service to the taxpayers. Yeah, you heard me right. The doctor says his abortions save taxpayers money, prevent shootings like the one in Colorado, and rid the world of ugly black babies. There was a video of this at the Washington Examiner. Just search the title, Abortionist sees aborting ugly black babies as a service to taxpayers. I have a hard time reading that.
I can't even wrap my head around that whole First of all,
I mean, this is what they think. This is the eugenics. They think they're doing a service to the earth and to the people that will be left.
Margaret Sanger, folks, research Margaret Sanger and Hillary Clinton. Margaret Sanger, a eugenicist, pro-abortion, not pro-women's rights, but pro-abortion. Margaret Sanger and Hillary Clinton. Look at how Hillary Clinton has deified Margaret Sanger and her views on abortion. And that, by the way, goes right into this article about aborting black children.
And this was from the Washington Examiner earlier, but there was an update at 5:50. The doctor in the video apparently is an active political donor giving all of his money to Democrats. What a surprise.
Yeah.
What a surprise. I mean, the scum of these people that do this, the ones who advocate abortion, the ones who commit the abortions, the ones who passed the laws, the ones who ruled in the Supreme Court to allow this to happen. I don't want to be you on Judgment Day, okay? Look what you have created. What was the number we got, the world abortion number we got from, I think, John Price. I know ours is like 70 million or 50 million.
We have exported.
But it was like 150 million.
No, that was my mistake. Okay, what happened was this. When Roe v. Wade was made into law, subsequent to that, all of our foreign aid was given with the tied to abortions. Okay, so in other words, if you want our money, you're going to have to agree that your country is going to offer abortions. It didn't say that, I'm paraphrasing, but you get the idea. Well, subsequent to that, 1 million abortions, or you know what? After the top of the hour, because this number is like staggering and it's important and it's a good piece of information to know what we've done. So I mean, just think about the soil in this country, the millions and millions of aborted children. They've got to be crying out for vengeance to God.
I mean, it says in I have my Bible here in the Book of Revelations before the
that's fine.
When the seal is broken, the 5th seal, it has the innocent who were slain for the testimony of Jesus Christ, and it says, when will our blood be avenged? And it's coming. I mean, look at our world. I read a passage, and like I said yesterday, many people, whether you agree or don't agree with the book of Enoch, that's not the point. It just expanded in what the Bible said about what would happen at the end times, and I want to read this again because it's important. And like I said, you can think what you want about the Book of Enoch, but it seems like some of the information in it has some merit. It says, this is chapter 80, and after the angels show Enoch all things, reveal all things to him, how the sun works, how the moon works, how the stars traverse through the heavens, who turns them, their tasks, their times, their departures. It says, and in the days of the sinners' years shall be shortened, and their seed shall be tardy on their lands and fields. All things on the earth shall alter, and shall not appear in their time. And, you know, what do we see now? Everything is changing. We're seeing droughts when we shouldn't. We're seeing snow. There's snow in South America today, or South Africa. We got fish dying in the U.S. yesterday because of hot water in these streams. It goes on to say, the rain shall be kept back, and heaven shall withhold it. And in those times the fruits of the earth shall be backward. They shall not grow in their time. The fruits of the trees shall be withered in their time. And the moon and shall alter her order, and not appear at her time. And people are saying the moon looks like it's upside down, it's not right. Many reports of that. I see them all the time. Same thing with the sun. And it goes on. It says, and in those days the sun shall be seen, and shall journey in the evening to the extremity of the great chariot in the west. And it says, and shall shine more brightly than accords with the order of light. Now think, people, I've seen this, so many people talk about the sun used to be yellow, now it's bright white. Is that to do with the increase of solar cycles that we're in right now, a higher solar cycle? I don't know, but according to this, it is because of the time we are living in. They're shining more light than what is prescribed by God. And all these laws of nature, Steve does a good job, Steve Quill, talking about the laws of nature, the laws of God. And these things are changing because things are not right on the land. Sin is overflowing. And we are an unrepentant people. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
And we're going to take your calls. 317 will be next, and then 856. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you're listening to the Hagmann and Hagmann Report, and we will be back after a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll take your calls, folks. Stay with us. Hi, folks. Doug Hagmann here. You might know me as the co-host from the Hagmann and Hagmann Report, or as a frequent guest on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. If you're like me, you're tired and confused over today's headlines. You just don't know where to turn for accurate, concise information about really what's going on, what's truly going on in today's society. If you don't know where to turn for accurate, well-researched, and properly vetted news, I've got a suggestion. In fact, it's a requirement. Bookmark Canada Free Press. That's CanadaFreePress.com on the internet. It's just not for Canada. It's for news across the world. Judy McLeod, founding editor, has put together a vast array of talented writers like Kelly O'Connell, Daniel Greenfield, Dr. Eileen Johnson-Powell, a lot of guest columnists, very talented writers. Folks, that's Canada Free Press at CanadaFreePress.com. Now mobile friendly. Follow on Facebook, because without America, there is no free world.
Survival of the fittest. In any and all situations, survival is your #1 priority. That requires being tough and thinking smart. And the folks at Freeze Dry Guy are going to help you do just that. They have the long-range patrol ration entrees, what they call the Brick Pack. When you're in survival mode, it is absolutely the best item for your survival pack or bug-out bag. You can go farther, faster, and carry more food with the LRP cold weather ration entrees. Not only do these long-lasting, durable entrees help sustain you or your family through the harshest environment or situation, they are by far the most delicious of their kind. No contest. With a variety of tasty entrees, you can't beat the LRP Brick Packs. Let Freeze Dry Guy help you in your survival situations. Go to freezedryguy.com. That's freezedryguy.com. Or call 866-404-3663. That's 866-404-FOOD.
Since the Colorado theater shooting, most of the media has wanted to jump all over the issue of whether or not AR-15 rifles and assault weapons should even be sold to the public. It is the same story every time an incident like this happens. Most of the arguments wind up centered on the Second Amendment. So what was the Second Amendment really about, and what does it protect? These kind of weapons. Ben has the reality check you won't see anywhere else.
Immediately following the Colorado theater shooting, the national media had already resigned themselves to pontificating over the Second Amendment and the role of guns in society. Hours after that shooting in Aurora, Colorado, CNN's Piers Morgan asked this question. quote, "You tell me a good reason why we should not strengthen the law now to stop another young man like him going into a store tomorrow, buying 4 more weapons, 6,000 rounds of ammunition on the internet, and killing and shooting another 70 people in America." Now, Piers is simply pushing a political agenda rather than looking at the facts. I told you last night that national media are ignoring major troubling questions about what happened in Colorado, and we're working on more on that coming up in the next few weeks. But tonight, we're looking at the Second Amendment. I have to warn you, though, because the Second Amendment is very politically incorrect, and the man who helped bring that to light last week, rapper Ice-T.
Yeah, it's legal in the United States. It's part of our Constitution. You know, the right to bear arms is because that's the last form of defense against tyranny, not to hunt.
And the thing is, Ice-T is historically correct. The Second Amendment is fairly simple, stating, quote, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and to bear arms shall not be infringed." To be clear, the militia is not regular military. They were farmers and blacksmiths who went about their daily lives. But notice that the amendment says this is for the security of a free state. According to the 1828 dictionary and other historical documents of that day, they refer to a state as an independent nation. The Second Amendment was put in place to remind the newly formed federal or general government that each state's citizenry would be armed and ready to defend themselves should the need arise. Remember, the United States was a plural term. So what you need to know? If people like Piers Morgan want to have a real discussion on the Second Amendment, then it needs to be an honest discussion. The Second Amendment is about tyranny, not about hunting or about sport. And many Americans, frankly, don't like that. It's an uncomfortable idea. Look, you may believe that protecting yourself from government is ludicrous, and yet the ability for citizens to have not just the power to elect and to choose leaders, but also the power to protect themselves violently, if necessary, from tyranny is historically what the founders created. Maybe the reason we aren't having honest debates about guns in this country or the Second Amendment is because we aren't honest about why those guns were allowed in the first place. And that is Reality Check.
If you'd like to make your voice heard on the story, head over to Ben's Facebook page. Find it by searching Ben Swan, WXIX.
You better wake up fast and listen to this, America. The Obama campaign has launched attack squads disguised as truth teams dedicated to intimidating and silencing all political dissent carried over the internet that criticizes the Marxist Obama. Truth squads specifically focused on covering up Obama's endless trail of lies, corruption, and subversion, and using the Gestapo power of our own government to police and censor the internet and shut down websites that dare to carry the real truth about Obama's Marxist coup. Remember the names of these Gestapo-style agencies at work right there in your neighborhood: KeepingHisWord.com, KeepingGOPHonest.com, and AttackWatch.com. KGB, SS, and Gestapo-style police-state gangster organizations at work to silence the important voices of patriot dissent, some of which have already been shut down by Obama's orders. Adolf Hitler would have been proud. We're the 21st century Tea Party patriots.
Doug Hagmann, one guy that doesn't need a bullhorn to get your attention.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to hour number 2 of the Hagmann and Hagmann Report this Tuesday, August 7th, 2012. Before the break, we talked about a lot of things. We are going to be taking your phone calls and more. 661-244-9839 is the number. We are I want to mention, the fastest growing internet radio show.
Yeah, we got the numbers.
Radio show on the internet, the fastest growing radio show on the internet. I'd have to say, I don't see anybody else having the numbers that we're producing, which is a miracle to us because we never. I mean, when we started this, we never dreamed we would be talking to thousands of people a night, 10,000 people a night, 20,000 people a night. you know, let alone 100 people a night. We got into this, you know, we did a show every Saturday, and we had, our listenership was nothing like it is now, and we just want to thank you guys so much for all the support you've given us, all the emails we received, all the prayers, all the spreading of the word of the show, and just your trust. We just thank you so much for,
and it's God. I mean, seriously, it's not us, it's God. All praises to Him.
And right before we go back to the phones, I just want to mention this. In the book of Jude, and this goes back to the book of Enoch, it says in chapter 14, or I'll start at 13, it says, raging waters of the sea, foaming out of their own shame, wandering stars to whom it is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. This is talking about the end times. And then 14, it says, and Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these things, saying, behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. And we see those speeches every day on internet forums, even on TV, in schools, in our public offices, and our political offices and arenas. You know, they mock God, they scoff at God, and they take His word and make it as useless to them, you know, as the Satan's Bible would be to us. I mean, they just don't care, and they know. And the worst part is these people are spiritual. They're on the other side. They know God is real, but they choose the darkness. They choose to go with Satan. And that, I mean, like I said, I don't know how these people live and sleep at night, and I don't know what they're going to be, what it's going to be like for them on Judgment Day, except what it says in the Bible, and I do not want to be in their shoes.
I do want to thank Nancy too. While you're talking about that, she sent me a link, and I got thank you for sending me the link, Nancy. And I do want to say this, and she suggested kind of mention this. You know, Ezekiel 3. I mean, we talk about a lot of heavy things here. Ezekiel 3. It kind of says, well, I'm paraphrasing here. Watchmen, you know, you will have the blood. Blood will be on the hands of watchmen, or for those people who don't warn.
Ezekiel 3?
Ezekiel 3. And one thing I wanted to mention, too, is again, when we talk about heavy things, fear, God is the remedy for fear. Jesus, you know, the belief that salvation is the remedy for fear.
And the Satanists use the fear. They use our desire. They manipulate it. They create answers for our every desire. So we are so distracted. They've twisted things so much that the saying that good is evil, or woe to those who call good evil and evil good. Exactly. We are living in those times. Things are opposite and backwards.
But I just want to make sure you know that we're attempting to fulfill the role of watchman. There are a lot of watchmen out there, but we're attempting to do it the right way, the proper way, as God would have us do it, if we can measure up to that, and hopefully we can.
Yeah, and all of our listeners, you know, you guys are watchmen as well.
That's right.
Because you know, you continue to speak out against this ungodliness, this unconstitutionalness, and the crimes being committed against humanity. And what you're talking about in Ezekiel, it says, "And it shall come to pass in the end." Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto thee, house of Israel. Therefore hear the word of my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him no warning, nor speaketh to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at thine hand, meaning your hand.
That's why I paraphrased it. And I was trying to read from the 17th century King James Version of the Bible. It's like, oh my God.
And the next verse,
paraphrase.
Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, then he shall die in his iniquity, but thou shalt hast delivered thy soul, meaning you have done your duty to God by warning the people of their wicked ways.
Yeah, and you won't have blood on your hands, and that's you know, with this comes a big responsibility. Let's go to the phones. Again,
well, we said 317, I think, at the top.
317. We're coming at you there. Thanks for your patience. Area code 317. You're on with Doug and Joe Hagmann.
Hi, this is Linda from Indiana, and I appreciate you guys so much. And I wanted to kind of talk about the Watchman tonight. I'm so glad you brought that up, Joe and Doug. I want to tell you that I pray for you faithfully every single day.
Okay.
And I want to ask, I want to just say, how about everybody sending you $10? How about that? For all the listeners to send $10, especially Watchmen, send in $10. And I wanted to tell you also that every 3 days now, I'm going to be fasting for you guys and Steve Quayle and Hawk, Greg Evenson, all those who are out there on the front lines, actually giving your life for us, and you're helping us to keep us going. And your support to us means so much, and we love you. We love you so much. And someday we're all going to get to meet. I know that.
Oh,
but
I know.
I was reading in Joshua today. The Lord had me go to Joshua 7, 8, and 9. And I got so high on just reading the Word because Joshua went after those kings. He put his feet on the heads of those necks of those kings. And my point was, I know all of this is coming to pass. Everything we talked about, everything the Bible prophesies, all the warnings, all these things are coming to pass. But I would like to encourage everybody to get on the aggressive. I believe in preparing and getting food and water and guns and ammo and all that. I believe that. But I also believe in the strength of the Lord and the arm of the Lord and the supernatural deliverance of the Lord. And I would just like to say to everybody to encourage them to get in the Word of God. You can get a high by reading the Word of God.
Yeah.
And it will bring you closer to the Lord. That will give you more encouragement and more understanding of what He's doing now, and He will be closer to you if you will reach out to Him. And Joe, your comments last night and even today concerning all these things that the Lord is doing, it's just so encouraging to hear you guys speak about the Lord as well as all the warnings and the things that are going on. But that's all I really had to say.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your kind words. And
I want to reiterate what you said. You do get a high from reading the Word of the Lord and reading the Bible. Every day I try to open the Bible, just to any random page, and I find something, breathtaking in it every single day. And while you were talking, I opened up to hear Psalm 118, and I have the number 8 verse circled there for a reason. But it's at verse 6, it says, the Lord is on my side, I will not fear. What can man do unto me? And that is a perfect statement. And it goes on to say, it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. And but yeah, with the Lord on your side, who can be against you? And what can they do? You can die one death with the Lord, or you can die 2, and the second one, an eternally painful torture death, by turning away from Him. And we have the opportunity for salvation as long as we're still breathing. And I encourage everybody, if you do not have a relationship with Jesus Christ, get one now. It's not too late.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Well,
love you both.
Thank you. We love you, and thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. And we'll keep you in our prayers as well.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks
for the call.
Thanks for calling.
All right.
Wow. What a great call. And, I want to get into that fasting part 2 as well, I should say, to do that as well. But I got to tell you, it's a little bit more difficult with my situation. But
yeah, that's been something I've been looking into, and I asked Steve about it when he was on. And I'm looking at different ways people practice doing that. And
but the thing we got to remember, I guess we got to move along real quick. But God is the antidote to fear. Your relationship.
It's the antidote to everything. Yeah. People ask me all the time, how are you doing? I'm always doing good, no matter what's going on in my life, because I know, what my future holds as long as I continue to do what I'm doing. And you just look at Job. For those unfamiliar, he was tested. His faith was tested by having everything taken away. The devil said to the Lord that, if you take this man's family, his property, everything away from him, he will not be grateful to you. Yeah, he will not be faithful to you. And just the opposite happened. He was faithful to the Lord, and the Lord rewarded him for his faithfulness.
Yeah. Okay, let's move along here.
Area code 580. You are next. You're on with the Hagmann and Hagmann report.
I was a little slow.
Is that me, guys?
That's you. I was a little slow in pressing that button. I apologize. Go ahead.
How's it going, Hagmann? How's it going, Joe and Doug? I just wanted to share with you guys and the listeners. Have you ever heard of the Enemy Expatriation Act?
Yes.
Yeah, but go ahead and give us your take on things.
That's the act that they can take away your citizenship if you are deemed to be with Al-Qaeda forces or an enemy of the combatant. Yeah.
Any FTOs, yes. Any foreign
basically, if you support any sort of like anti-government views, say, I don't know, maybe the Occupy Wall Street movement, they could basically say you're an enemy combatant, and then they'll just like throw in the NDAA for good measure and say that you're an enemy combatant, so therefore you're fair game, and off to Guantanamo Bay or to one of the CIA camps that you go.
Yes, yes. It's.
I mean, there's that legislation, the Expatriation Act, the NDAA.
Yeah.
There's also the federal protest restriction thing they passed, where they can kind of make any area federally protected as a protest zone, and they can take you away, even if you don't know you're in a no protest zone. Even if it's not a no protest zone, you know, you could be standing on your block. They could turn it into a no protest zone while you're standing there, and you could be arrested.
Basically, yes. But those have been around, those silent or free speech zones or non-free speech zones or whatever you call them. The zones have been around for a long time. But yes, what about the Expatriation Act? Do you have anything, any other commentary on it?
I mean, it just like sickens me to like our own representatives, both in the Senate and in the House of Representatives, are just like allowing this to happen. I mean. I'm like, and who actually sponsored it and everything, and it's Joe Lieberman, Scott Brown of Massachusetts, Representatives Charlie Dent and Jason Atmere of Pennsylvania, both of Pennsylvania, and I'm just like, how can they do this? I mean, do they not know what it says in the Constitution? Well, obviously they really don't care, because then they wouldn't do this sort of thing.
That's right. You have, John McCain.
I mean, we need to march on D.C. and just, like, line them all up and everything, saying, are you going to support this bill? Are you going to support this bill? Do you support what Obama is doing to our rights and, like, funneling money to, like, overseas to fight, like, war after war after war, bankrupting this country? And if you do, you're going to the FEMA camps, and we're going to torture you until you finally give out.
Yeah, exactly. And one of our listeners, I have to say, I think Nancy or Maggie, or I want to thank whoever sent the FEMA camp information.
Yeah, we got that here. We're going to cover that. That's from Dorothy.
Dorothy, thank you very much for sending this. FEMA camp
unique job opportunity with FEMA in 2013. More details inside, and I'll be posting this stuff in the chat room. And
man. I don't know.
This is so long here. I don't know if there's a link to this, but we'll be getting into this.
You've got you've got opportunities at FEMA if you're out of a job. So.
The only job I want is to drag Obama kicking and screaming out of the White House.
Well, I mean, don't forget, it's not just Obama. It is the whole House, the whole Senate, the cabinet.
I'll drag them kicking and screaming too.
Yeah, we need to flush the people who are in Washington out of Washington, and that won't really happen. I do not see a political answer to the problem we have in this country. I really don't.
Just one more thing I wanted to share with you gentlemen and the listeners as well. I was down at the mall like about, I don't know, probably about a month and a half ago and everything, and one of my good friends, he works as a security guard down there, and he's like, hey, you want to hear a really good conspiracy theory? I know you're into those things because you're always like ranting and raving about how the government's trying to screw us over, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. You wake up about it, and he's like, yeah, whatever. Well, get this. They're training us security guards to start patting down people, checking their bags and all that good stuff. And I'm like, you're kidding me.
And he's like, nope. that, okay, we've been hearing rumblings about this. The TSA, for lack of a better term, is beginning to deputize people. Okay, now that's hard to fathom, especially when you've got the TSA, that's a non-commissioned law enforcement body, deputizing anyone. But watch for this. When they say they're expanding into malls and stadiums, what they're doing is they'll send 1 or 2 TSA agents down there, teach the security people, the private security companies, on how to do this, and they'll have a TSA officer on duty. But nonetheless, you're going to have this whole thing subcontracted out. So you're going to be subjected to the same type of invasive search at malls by private security with a TSA agent there, but not necessarily doing it, but some 250-pound guy that just got his job here a couple of weeks ago. So that's what we're up against. Yes, you're absolutely correct. This is taking place.
But the thing is, it ain't going to just be at malls and stadiums. Oh no,
it's going to be
your
everywhere.
children are next.
School, they're talking, and this bothered me a whole lot. I did contact our school district, and right now our school district is not part of this, but there is a move to move, not a move, but the plan to move the TSA into, or a component of the TSA to all schools, from elementary schools up through high schools all across the country.
I'm sorry, but I don't have any children right now. I babysit my cousins, that's about it. But I so much as hear as a whisper of anybody groping my cousins, they better give their soul to God, because I will show them the devil.
Well, now, you can be careful now, but I understand your outrage, and but look, it's not right, and
look, I understand your frustration, your anger. I've been through these phases. The best way and it's hard to say this, but the best thing to do is to pray for your enemies. I know we have to hate the sin, but we cannot hate the person as much as we want to. But we can't tolerate.
We cannot tolerate this. We have to take a stand.
Right.
And Carl, I'm going to tell you something. You make a good point, because I get doggone mad too. I mean, I get very angry, and I kick the file cabinet. And there's things that there's things you're not going to touch you're not going to touch my sister or my daughter or my no, you're not going to do it. You're not going to lay your hands on them. Because, like I always say, one of us is going to go to jail, and but we have to take a stand, and we're working on ways to do that, to stop the gate rape. Okay, now that's just stay tuned for that, because we've been really working on some ways to consolidate the amount of people, the number of people who are going to say, we're not going to do this anymore. Just as they've got a trusted traveler program, we're going to have an anti-gate rape program. We will not submit program.
Yeah. And
we're working on that, so stay tuned for that. But you're right on the money, caller. I share your outrage and
yeah, frustration. It is. You are not alone, and it's hard when we're doing the show, reading these headlines, going through these research every day. I can't tell you how many times a day I get sick and tired and leave where my computer is to go take a walk, to go pet my cat, to do something else, because I have to get my mind out of that stuff. Because read the Bible, anything to get away. I mean, I'm just saying, things that calm you down, things that relax you. I got to get away almost on a daily basis. I get up from my computer in disgust at what I see and what I read.
Wait until you get about 27 years older.
Yeah. Is there anything else, caller?
Nope. I appreciate you guys taking my call, and you guys have a good night. God bless.
Yeah, you too, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for calling in, and thanks for being a good support, good listener of our show.
Absolutely.
Let's move on. We
familiar voice
lightning around here.
We're going to. Oops, I almost clicked the wrong one. We're going to Jeff. Jeff, you're on with Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
Good evening, Joe and Doug. How you doing?
Good, Jeff.
I'm just relaxing here, and you know what? I have a lot of things on my mind, but I'll stick with the basics. As far as the shooting at the Sikh temple, the thing that came in my mind when I seen who did it, and it said neo-Nazi, I said this is gonna put a big target on white people. White people, pro-Israel Jews, pro-Israel, born-again Christians, anybody that's anti-Muslim and pro-Israel, this is going to put a big target right on their back. I mean, right away. Ooh, you say you're pro-Israel and anti-Muslim?
That's right.
You're against that mosque in Roxbury, Massachusetts? Jeff, you are a Nazi. I always knew you were a scumbag.
Well, Jeff, I'm going to tell you something. The blowback is going to be, in fact, the blowback will be against the Jews in this country, against the synagogues. You got a whole contingent of police going to without any reason whatsoever, going to protect the Sikh temples, and because of CARE, who, by the way, just regained their tax-exempt status.
Oh, brother.
Okay, now because of them, they have extra security at mosques and Sikh temples. But the blowback is going to be at synagogues in this country. Just watch at Christian churches.
Oh, yes. No, you're absolutely right. And you know what? I was reading Ezekiel 1:2-3 because I was really disturbed by this. You know, and I was praying, and you know what came to me? It was this. We as Americans are going to be in refugee camps. I'm telling you something, folks. If you hear like white supremacist types in these camps saying, let's have a revolution, avoid them like the plague. If you hear any talk of get your guns, let's lynch Obama, that Muslim communist from Kenya. Avoid that person like the plague. This is peaceful.
In the video I watched today, that there was a 20-minute video I mentioned, it says in there, violence is only a tool to be used as a last measure of defense against one's life or another human's life, and it is not to be used for anything else, yet our nation uses it for everything. They tell you that you should not be violent, yet they use force and violence to enforce their beliefs on you.
Violence is a policy or policy directive.
You're exactly right. Now, let me wrap it up with this because I know there's a lot of other callers on. It's prayer, fasting, keeping your head on, not listening to the ancient provocateurs, not listening to the government agents, because if you hear that kind of talk, that's a Fed. That's a disinfo agent. That's a Judas goat, and there's a lot of Judas goats running around in this country. And as I read Ezekiel chapter 3, Americans are going to get desperate, and they're going to be looking for a leader and so forth. Make sure you don't go with a Judas goat. Make sure you go with a man of God that says prayer, fasting. You know, do it by peaceful means. If you do defend yourself, it's only to be used to protect your family and your household. That is it, and your friends. And that's as far as it goes at best, and there's a use of force continuum that you guys know about the use of force continuum. You can elaborate on that when I get off the phone. God bless and have a good night.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. And your audio was kind of scrambled there at the end. Sure. I heard you talk about the use of force.
Look, we got to be responsible in what we say and what we do. Okay, we're certainly not advocating anybody going out and Jeff is
no
right,
offensive violence ever is an answer.
You know, because look,
that is the problem.
We do talk with people who we know that there are people who are just baiting others to act in a violent fashion.
Yeah, I mean, look what they've done with the militias. They you know, made the militias seem like something that is equivalent to a Nazi terrorist almost, and you know, you hear the word militia, people get all scared even when there's no reason to. It is part of our Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia is necessary for the security of the state, etc. But I want to move on here. We're going to take some more calls shortly. If you want to jump in, we got about a half hour left. Give us a call at 661-244-9839. This article here from
callers, hold on until we get through this story here.
This article here from Christian News, I'll post in the chat room, and it is titled "Mitt Romney Comes Out in Support of Homosexual Boy Scout Leader Members." And he says, it goes on to say, a spokesman for Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney has advised that the former Massachusetts governor disagrees with the Boy Scouts' current policy prohibiting open homosexuals from serving as members and leaders. According to the Associated Press, Romney spokeswoman Andrea Saul told the news outlet in an email that Romney still stands by his beliefs that homosexual men should be able to serve in the organization. She said specifically noted that Romney had outlined in his views in 1994 during a political debate, and that his stance has not changed.
Now,
that must be the only stance
would you not call homosexual, especially of young boys advocating homosexuality, would you not call that evil?
Of course.
Okay. Would you not call Romney's stance tolerance?
What was that?
Would you not call his position tolerance?
Well, that's what they try to label it as tolerance, you know, and like it says in the, was it the Communist Manifesto or the Communist goals, that they will insert vulgar and,
that's my point.
You know, terrible things into society, and when people say they shouldn't be there, they will say it is censorship. And
but see, tolerance of a crime or of evil is in and of itself is evil. It's a crime. Tolerance of evil is a crime, and tolerance of crime is evil. And this is what we're looking at. We cannot tolerate. So the societal degradation. By the way, before they break, folks, I don't know if you can see this or not. John Price, we've had him on our show. We're going to have him back on again. The End of America. This is the book, End of America. He wrote it. Man, I'll tell you what. I think it's 99 cents on that.
Yeah,
on
the Kindle edition.
Yeah, but we had talked about the abortion aspect of things. I thought I had it marked here, but I don't. Anyway,
number of
homosexuality, all this.
Yeah. And
go ahead and continue with what you were doing there, or what you were saying while I grab this.
I'm going to go on with this article. As previously reported last month, the Boy Scouts of America issued a statement reaffirming its policy prohibiting open homosexuals from joining the organization. The committee's work in conclusion is that the policy reflects the beliefs and perspectives of the BSA members, thereby
Scouts of America, that's right,
allowing the Scouts to remain focused on its mission and the work it is doing to serve more youth, the statement said. The review included forthright and candid conversation and the extensive research and evaluations, both from within Scouting and from outside the organization. Look, we're seeing this homosexual agenda infiltrate all aspects of society, and if you're a homosexual, I don't have a problem with you personally. It's your lifestyle I have a problem with. I'm not going to talk down to you or look, you know, down on you like you're lesser of a person. Just like I try not to look down on anybody else. But when you try to force this into society, when you try to make it normal, when it's anything but normal, it is unnatural. It is unnatural even to the earth, let alone to God's laws, to the laws of nature. It is unnatural. And it is disgusting in my opinion, but what we can't do is allow their agendas of infiltrating all aspects of society to get through by the means of tolerance, like you said. And it is disgusting to see good people sit back and do nothing. When I see certain church denominations allow gay clergy members, they vote, you know, that they're allowed to have gay clergy members now in their churches. That is the church. If the church members do not stand up in outrage about that, that is their fault. It's not just as much their fault as the people who voted for it. Just like we say, you know, this culture of death this government has promoted, the invasion of all these foreign countries, the illegal drone killings of all these people in at least 13 different countries by Obama, the wars by Bush and Obama, continued by Obama, the Arab Spring, all this death that is going on, you know, by not speaking out against it, you are advocating for it.
That's right. Go ahead, talk amongst yourselves. I'm trying to find this.
I'm going to move on to another article here. Senator accuses Barack Obama administration of giving safe harbor to some criminal illegals, and we knew this. We talked about this yesterday. President Obama's new immigration plan will provide safe harbor to criminal illegal immigrants who will lead to a compilation of lawlessness that could threaten public safety, Senator Jeff Sessions of Alabama said. Fox News has obtained an internal document detailing how the Department of Homeland Security plans to implement what critics say amounts to an amnesty policy for what could be more than 1 million illegal immigrants.
Okay, now wait a second.
According to these documents, illegal immigrants convicted of felonies or misdemeanors under the state immigration laws may be granted deferred action. Those who have repeatedly entered the U.S. illegally will also be eligible, and traffic violations will not be considered a misdemeanor.
In fact, they're even going as far as saying if you do have misdemeanors, depending on the age, they're going to give you basically amnesty. It's catch and release.
Sessions said it is a direct threat to the rule of law and the demonstrated desire of the American people for a lawful system of immigration. And I'll agree with Mr. Sessions that it is a direct threat to the rule of law, but so is the NDAA, so is, you know, abortion, so is everything else that is going on being carried out by our criminal government. And, you know, what are you going to do about, I can't stand these talking head, I got to choose my words carefully because I'm about to use some bad words, these people, these Congress critters as they're called, these slimeball senators, and the people in all the branches of government advocate crime. And I'm just going to give you an example. John McCain, very big co-author of the NDAA, right?
He's a war hero too, you know.
Yeah, and he advocates the torture and death without trial of American citizens. He wrote the NDAA saying if you are associated with Al-Qaeda or its forces, you can be detained, killed, kidnapped, etc. He's pushing for Al-Qaeda. He's saying it's not happening fast enough. We need more Al-Qaeda forces in Syria to take out Assad. I mean, the insanity. How do these people keep their jobs? How do these people stay out of jail? Obviously, there are bigger interests at play, the bigger powers at play that make sure, you know, there's a seal of protection, at least temporary, on this earth around these people. Otherwise, all these congressmen, all these senators should be in prison. I just don't understand. We read articles earlier of Eric Holder and his DOJ and other members of the executive branch perjuring themselves in front of Congress, caught lying, multiple occasions.
Look, today, right before the show, open my Bible, Proverbs 29:12. If a ruler hearkens to lie, all of his servants are wicked, or all of his people around him are wicked. Man, does that not describe what we're seeing right now? Oh, yeah, I think so. And let me jump in here because I did find this in The End of America by John Price. Just really quickly, then we're going to get back to the phones. You know, God's accounting for the shedding of innocent blood. It's a book that explores in depth a number of, the abortion issue. But prior to Roe versus Wade, only 2 nations allowed strictly limited availability of abortion. After America, however, approved abortion on demand with no effective limit as to when in the gestation period abortion was allowed and no restriction whatsoever on the reason for the abortion. Yeah, you know, the little, you know, one-night deal. Go ahead. The floodgates were opened. And here's what happened here. Basically, John wrote in Revelation 17 that Babylon, that BS, perhaps was the mother of abominations. In other words, we were the innovator and we birthed the killing of babies and others. But what got me is the math on this, and he gets into this. First of all, in the first week after becoming president, Obama signed an executive order lifting restrictions on the use of American foreign aid dollars sent to other countries for family planning purposes. Now, see, I didn't know that. I mean, I knew he did a bunch of stuff, but I did not know he lifted those restrictions.
The family planning?
Yeah, well, in other words, read abortions.
Right.
There are now no restrictions on the foreign aid recipients from promoting abortion using American tax dollars, our tax dollars. We are alone among the nations of the world. The only nation sending both private and public funds, our tax dollars, as well to other nations of the world to facilitate and encourage the killing of those nations' infants. And it's an abomination. And we, in Chapter 11 of his book, he gets into the numbers. You're looking at some staggering numbers. January 22nd, 1973, the day after Roe v. Wade, no states had valid laws prohibiting or restricting abortion. As the United States struck down all state laws protecting children in the womb, Roe v. Wade went so far as to authorize the killing of in-womb children through the entire 9-month human gestation period. That was Roe v. Wade, folks. Abortion on demand. Anyway, real quick, let me just, according in 2001, the last year for which data is available, an abortion cost in that year was $468. Multiply the number of abortions times the cost of an abortion, which we pay for, tax dollars via family planning as well, and you're looking at blood money close to $1 billion. And the number of exportations of abortions because of what we've done since Roe v. Wade, over 1 billion babies in the world have died in part because of America's leadership in promoting abortions globally. That's over 1 billion.
Yeah.
So that's
amazing.
because of our policies.
That's amazing.
All right.
1 billion abortions.
And I didn't want to make this about abortion, but I just thought that was important because you don't think that God is going to be just a little peeved?
Oh, we know He is, and we know that He is going to come back with a vengeance. We see what's happening in our world. There's snow in, South America, where there rarely is snow, or never is snow, I'm sorry. Yesterday, there were multiple reports of lots of dead fish in the Midwest due to the heat. They said that the water temperature got too warm and it killed a bunch of these fish.
Right.
And we are seeing signs in the sun and the stars and the heavens. We are seeing the earth go to and fro. And what is happening is the world is falling apart. And you keep pointing at the phones. We don't have any new callers.
I'm not pointing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I thought you were thinking. But no, and it's just ridiculous that our tax money will continue to go to fund these abortions, especially under the new Obamacare law, where they will tax 75% of the people who make under $120,000 or even under $75,000. I think will be the 75% of people, or 70. Let me rephrase this: the people making under $120,000, 75% of the Obamacare cost will come from you. And that is not what he said when he said he wouldn't raise taxes on families making under $250,000. It's not what he said when Obamacare came out. They made 16,000 IRS agents for enforcers of Obamacare to come use force against you if you are not responsible and pay your, government bookie. It's just ridiculous. So just say no. I mean, these people are going to try and take the money out of your bank accounts. Close your bank accounts. We have to find ways around this, to not comply, to peacefully be disobedient, civil disobedience in a peaceful manner. We can do it. Stop shopping at the mega stores. Start supporting businesses in your local communities. Get away from all these, chain stores that are all owned by the same people at the top, Coke, Pepsi, et cetera, et cetera. I found that, there are many interesting places in your own communities where you can get things done that you thought you would never be able to do. You'd have to go to a Lowe's or a Walmart or, one of the big stores, but there are very smart people out there, and those that are still have businesses, God bless you guys, and we got to support these people because they are our last line of defense for our economy.
Oh, man.
If the small businesses get taken out, as they are at rapid pace, and they're not expanding, that's why unemployment's the way it is. It will get worse. If the restrictions are lifted, small businesses are allowed to expand, the taxes are drawn back, and they do expand, you would see the unemployment drop. But they don't want that. They don't want the debt to be reduced. As Obama said, if you didn't see the debt decrease by half in his first term, that would be, you don't have to reelect him because of that. He even said that, yet people still find ways. Well, it's Bush's fault. It's Bush's. So, if Romney gets elected and he enforces NDAA on American citizens, people are going to come back and say, well, it's Obama's fault. He passed the law.
No, it's great. But you mentioned
stop passing the buck and take responsibility. And
and you mentioned Obamacare, folks. You understand this: 2,700 pages of Obamacare. There are more than 2,500 references to the Secretary of Health and Human Services. All of a sudden, she becomes syllabus or whatever her name is. She becomes the person. There are more than 700 instances where he or she is instructed that they shall do something more than 200 times when they may take, at their sole discretion, some form of regulatory action. What I just said there was there are over 700 instances that are instructive in nature, that give the, give the executive branch or give the Obamacare, what do I want to call it, the enforcers, 700 instances giving the Obamacare enforcers the leeway to enforce various laws. Now, 2,319 pages, Dodd-Frank Act. This is the Financial Reform Act, folks. Both of these basically confer unlimited power to the executive branch, but my goodness, this Dodd-Frank Act is just, you've got to take a look at it and understand what it has done to this country. And we got progressives touting this. Look, it's this extra constitutional actions. These extra constitutional actions right now that are taking place.
Unconstitutional actions.
Well, extra.
Yeah, they are extra.
Whatever. Yeah. It's. But look, yeah. I didn't want to get off on a tangent there, but can you imagine what a nightmare this is going to be? And if Obama is allowed to get in for a second term, folks, I'm afraid we're done.
You know, put Romney's name in there too.
Well,
because what will change?
Boy.
And I know it's a hard realization to come to.
What do you think of that?
Yeah.
What do you think of that statement? I mean,
maybe wars. Maybe we'll change the place where we commit war. You know, have wars. Maybe we'll change the people we label as terrorists. I don't know.
Look, I think Obama's on a whole different class. I really do.
Maybe he is, but it doesn't matter. If Romney gets in as president, the globalists will carry out their one world agenda as planned, regardless.
With that.
You could be president, and they will carry it out, or they will kill you
over my dead body.
Exactly. That's the way it is. And we know this, and this is why we are talking on the radio, because we understand who runs this country, or at least we know who doesn't.
We think we understand.
Yeah, we know who doesn't run this country, and what Obama's role is. And I see people arguing about. I was on the Blaze, and there was an article about. It was about Obama or about Romney, and I see hundreds of comments, all arguing policies over the left and the right. And I commented, I said, you stupid people, why are you arguing about left and right, policies? I said, you have been betrayed by your government from both parties. Wake up and get out of there. The people who support Democrats or Republicans, and I don't want to advocate people not voting or, do what you want on voting day, but know that your vote has consequences. And we have to be careful. Do we not participate because there is no good choice, there is no righteous choice?
Of course not.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Look.
I will write in, Jesus on the ballot before I vote for Obama or Romney.
Okay. No, don't.
No.
That.
I'm serious.
You and I are going to have to talk afterwards. We've got to get Obama.
It doesn't matter.
We've got to get Obama out.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you this. You get Obama out, get Romney in, we'll still be sitting here talking about the same government corruption, if we're still around, the same lies, the same deceit, the same killings, the same wars. You mark my words. 100%, I bet my life on it.
So what do we do?
It's not going to
just
change.
Stop? We just stop and
no,
have ice cream?
Not at all. No, we keep fighting. We get these idiots out of here. Obviously, like I said, Obama could come on TV right now and say he just murdered 10 grandmothers in Chicago and people would send him money, okay? That's the problem. The problem is with the American people. They need to change.
We need
to help change them. But we can't. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So we can only do so much. And unfortunately, I don't have faith in the people of this country as they have been, as I say, lobotomized into zombification. And they are walking robot drones that, only care about their own selfishness, their own little world that they live in, not caring about the bigger picture, not even about their neighbors, not even about, the people, the homeless in their city, not even about the aborted babies in America, nothing. All they care about is that they have some fake mental what do you would call it, like cling groupie, like in high school, you're with your little group, oh, I'm a Republican, oh, I'm a Democrat. It's all childish, ridiculous.
We know that two-party
manipulated.
System is a false paradigm, but we've got to get these people out.
They manipulate your emotions to keep this left-right thing going, saying if you're not a part of the government, you're a terrorist, you're, a fringe, neo-Nazi, Tea Party, Occupy, crazy person. They do everything to what's the word I'm looking for? Discredit you, to make you look crazy and nuts. Anybody who offers any real solutions, they tear down so fast, and it's sad to see. And is it going to get better? No. If Romney gets in, is the country going to be destroyed? Yes. If Obama stays in, is it going to get destroyed? Yes. How fast? Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, you really think that if Romney gets president, things will get better? Will the economy get better? Will Obamacare go away? Will the NDAA go away? Romney supports NDAA. Romney supports and wrote Obamacare. Romney supports abortion. Romney supports gay marriage. Romney is Obama. Okay? Just put it that way.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Could Romney go in there and overturn the executive orders? Yes, he could.
But will he? No, he won't.
Well, we don't know that, but we know where Obama stands, don't we?
Well, I know where Romney stands, too. You can see it in his eyes, and you can, I mean, he is a sellout straight through and through. And,
well, so what you're saying is we should just forget about it. And
no, what I'm saying is we need to reclaim, if we are going to do anything, the minds and hearts of the people of America to get them back to traditional American ideals of freedom, independence, nonviolence, individual liberty, unfederal, what do they say? Yeah, nonviolence, non-offensive violence. We have, how many offensive wars have we?
You're talking about going out to war, okay,
right.
I understand that. Okay.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like I said, through the not speaking out against these killings, you're advocating
wait a
for
second. Well, just 1 second, though. You tell me the difference between Romney and Obama on Israel.
Well, it's only a matter of what you hear them say, what is reported they say, and what are their actions.
Okay, but look, I guarantee you there's no one, and if Obama gets in office the second term, God help us, because Genesis chapter 12, verses 2 and 3, we will bless, or, you know, I will bless those who bless you, Israel, and curse those who curse thee. Okay, we're cooked.
Yeah, but still, Romney has this, we'll say, a fake allegiance to Israel, or an allegiance to a fake Israel, which is part of the synagogue of Satan in the Revelations, as they say, the money masters. What is he going to do? He's going to go right to war with Iran, and it's just going to continue the one world agenda. It's not going to be any different. It can't be, and it won't be.
But look, where Obama, this is just one issue, where Obama is going to fail, turn his back on, and in fact, and become an enemy of the nation of Israel, I don't believe Romney will.
Okay, I'll give you this. I definitely want to see Obama out of office.
Right,
we can't have another 4 years.
In fact, he should be arrested. Him and Pelosi and everyone who and even the half the
Romney should be arrested.
All
but I'm just warning you.
Need to be arrested.
For those of you expecting something different from Romney, you're in for a surprise. It's not going to get different.
Well,
it's going to get even worse.
I'm glad we don't have like dinner together at the dinner table. We'd be both smacking each other. You know,
I mean,
really. No, but I agree. Look, suppose two sides of the same coin, but you've got at some point you've got to start.
No, the people need to start. The people out there need to start running for office. They need to do more. They need to, you know, people rely on other people too much. They rely on other people for research. They rely on other people for, and it's not always a bad thing, but when it's to the point where it hinders on your own advancing yourself, you know, from you helping yourself, it's a problem. People have the ability to be politicians, good politicians, if they would, you know, put in the extra effort and motivation to help their community, but they're so self-minded that they don't think that way. Good people don't want that.
It used to be. Look,
I wouldn't want to be a politician.
It used to be where, you know, you got if you were going to be a senator or house member, you would volunteer your time. Basically, essentially, that's how you do it. I mean, you wouldn't get the paychecks. You'd get voted in. You'd do your time and leave, and that's how it used to be. You know, no one was a career politician. You know, we've got term limits on the presidency right now. We do anyway. I don't know for how much longer, but we don't have them on the House and Senate. We need term limits, okay? We need to go back to the founding document, the founding fathers' vision of this country, and follow the Constitution. And I'll tell you what, Obama's not following the Constitution. Perhaps Romney will. If he doesn't, then you know what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take over Washington.
Yeah, I mean, we should have taken over Washington a long time ago.
Okay, to the feds listening, don't bust in my door tonight. Okay,
we should have taken over Washington and a takeover of ideas, morals, and getting the right people in there. How can you say take over Washington? You know, we need to take over Washington when it's full of known criminals. We need to get them out through legal processes, and if not legal, then we need to voice our protests in the streets and until they resign, or however we need to do it. It has to be peaceful. It has to be right. And it's not going to happen the way I see it. We're going to get clamped down on so hard, we're not going to know what hit us when it happens.
And it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I believe, but like I said, God is the antidote for fear, and I think that we need to focus on that. And I apologize for getting off into a rant.
No, we needed to get into this rant because this needs to be discussed. Is there going to be a difference between Romney supports NDAA? That's all I need to know.
No, I understand that. I do understand that. But we've got to jail we've got to arrest Obama for impersonating a citizen of the United States.
I agree. Arrest him. Arrest Holder for perjury. Arrest John McCain for treason. Arrest Lindsey Graham, Joe Lieberman. Yeah. Of course, Janet Napolitano, George Bush.
We got to find out, but we got to have somebody to prosecute them. So
we got to arrest the corporations who have made their beds with the government, getting their insider club. 70% of the TARP bailout went to banks overseas of our tax money.
I understand that.
Okay,
that's a horrible thing.
It continues. This trend continues. No matter, all of our money is going overseas. Our resources. China owns more of our resources than we know. I got some information that they actually own more than 50% of the land in the U.S., but I don't know. They own the titles, hold the titles to the land, but I don't. That's a third person. That's how the info got to me. I'm looking on ways to figure out how true this is.
They own a lot of our infrastructure, not infrastructure, but our.
But yeah, we've been sold down the river. Our only answer is the Lord Jesus Christ. Find Him. The fear will be gone. Seek refuge with Him.
I know that yes, exactly. And I know that we're leaving a lot of callers on hold.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I apologize for that.
And I think we got to a lot of the callers that are on hold.
Yeah,
I think we got to all of them.
If you want to chime in, please call a little bit earlier. We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, we are up against the end of the show. We want to say God bless you to each and every one of you listeners out there tonight. Join us tomorrow at the same time, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard.
And don't forget, Sunday we're trying to work it up, Steve Quayle and Augusta Perez. God bless you, folks. Have a good night.